No. 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 I'm okay. I'm okay.
Hello there.
This is where the fun begins.
What's going on, guys? Unofficial Star Wars here. Hope you're all doing well, and welcome to my The Mandalorian Season 3, Episode 8 finale breakdown video. We are going to be regarding and talking about all of the different things that you might have missed throughout this episode, as well as Easter eggs and an in-general review of the episode as well. So, that there being said, let's go ahead and hop right on into it. I will be sharing plenty of my own thoughts and opinions, as I had also regarded in our reaction video out here now on the channel as well. In this video, we are going to be taking a read from IGN.com. I'll have their article linked in the description down below for you guys to check out there as well. As a read, Din Djarin has been relegated to a secondary character for much of Season 3 of The Mandalorian, as the show is mostly focused on Bo-Katan's quest to retake Mandalore and the struggles of the New Republic to maintain control of the galaxy. But the titular character of Mando finally takes the spotlight once again in an excellent finale that ties up the events of the last 3 seasons while setting the stage for new adventures to come. Episode 8, titled The Return, picks up right where things left off, with Episode 7, titled The Spies, with the Mandalorians in a dire straits following Moff Gideon's ambush, but the episode comes to resemble the conclusion of The Return of the Jedi, splitting the action across multiple fronts as the divided Mandalorian forces work together to finally defeat their greatest foe, Moff Gideon, and the rest of the Imperial remnants, which is still out there. We have to remember it's not just Moff Gideon, and that there's all of these other Imperial warlords that are a part of what's called the Shadow Council. Din Djarin finally gets to really show off in this episode, breaking himself out of captivity and fighting the Dark Troopers unarmed by skillfully maneuvering to make them turn their own weapons against each other. His scrapier fights are remnants of Daredevil from the MCU, particularly with the gauntlet he faces with the help of R5, who helps but uniquely Star Wars twist on the situation through his conflict with the mouse droids, a nice little fun tidbit at that. The questioning structure of the Mandalorian often makes us feel a bit like a video game, but Din Djarin picks up progressively more powerful weapons that took on similarities to a hilarious new level as you would see in a video game. And so, while Din Djarin hunts for Moff Gideon within his base, Bo-Katan scrambles to regroup her forces. Axe Wolf echoes the heroism of Paz Vizsla as he takes command of the capital ship, demonstrating just how vulnerable those big vessels are without smaller craft to scramble. This is the most epic scale conflict in The Mandalorian that has been delivered thus far, but it still feels small and scrappy at that. The forces of 2 broken empires facing down with everything on the line. That makes it feel more fulfilling than The Rise of Skywalker, with the ludicrous number of ships and impossibly high stakes. The cloning aspect of the episode feels a bit overwrought. If Moff Gideon's clones are so important, why is it so easy to explode them all? Giancarlo Esposito is capable of being terrifying in all of his villainous roles, but his performance doesn't really land as he explains the grand plan that started with kidnapping Grogu all the way back in Season 1, and given his chosen melee weapon and a red and black horned Beskar helmet, Gideon clearly wants to be heir to Darth Maul, and the Darksaber-wielding Sith Lord of Mandalore. It's too bad he didn't have more time to develop what could have been a compelling look at one way that one of the most brilliant and ruthless Imperials viewed in his own limitations. Perhaps that conflict can be further developed through Thrawn in the Ahsoka show, coming out in just a couple of months. Can you really be heir to the Empire if you're not capable of demonstrating Palpatine's level of raw power, though, however? That's really just what the article is saying, and I loved everything with Giancarlo Esposito's Moff Gideon in The Mandalorian Season 3. His delivery of lines, his costume, his action scenes were incredible, and although they kind of overgo with the whole cloning aspect that Moff Gideon has this cloning project and even reveals that he has these Force-sensitive clones, and they kind of just brush right past it, destroy the clones, and move on. It's something that I do think and am hopeful that they will explore more on in the future of The Mandalorian. I mean, really, with that, how could they not? It is such a cool concept that so many Star Wars fans out there have been wanting to see in canon. Having actual successful Force clones, Force-sensitive clones, is something something that we've only seen in Legends with the Force Unleashed, so to see that come into canon is beyond incredible. And I think that it really does have so much potential going forward for the narrative. The visit to the cave of refugees of the surviving Mandalorians with Bo-Katan before they go back to the Imperial base provides a nice break in the action. Much like the end of WALL-E, the animated Disney movie, it provides a sign of hope that has ravaged on the surface of the planet. It can still sustain life. It combines neatly with the eradication of Ragnar, the son of Paz Vizsla, and the rekindling of the Great Forge of Mandalore, with re-establishing the value of the resettlement of Mandalore and the reunification of its people, the Mandalorians, with all the different cultures and clans, giving them the chance to be a real force again in a fractured galaxy during this time period of the era of the New Republic. The crushing of the Darksaber closes a long chapter on the Mandalorian lure, creating a possibility of a future that will no longer be defined by individual combat prowess, and I feel like this is something that people have kind of been glossing over a little bit much. I'd like to discuss this in further depth in a more detailed video here later on the channel with this quote-unquote destruction of the Darksaber. It doesn't feel right in my own thoughts and opinions. It kind of reminds me of The Last Jedi and the destruction of Anakin Skywalker's lightsaber. Part of me just doesn't feel like it's right, and it doesn't feel as conclusive as it really should be. I mean, Moff Gideon, it just doesn't make sense that he would be able to destroy it, since the hilt of the Darksaber is made out of Beskar, and the suit that Gideon is wearing is simply made out of Beskar alloy, something that's not as strong or as pure or tough as actual Beskar. Grogu does also really shine in this episode, reprising his role in the earliest episodes of The Mandalorian as an occasionally powerful protector of Din Djarin, something finally returning to the action side of things rather than just sitting there and looking cute, although that's not a complaint. He's more consistent and clever now, and particularly well suited to evening the odds, providing neat little assists in the fights against the Dark Troopers, the Praetorian Guards, and even Moff Gideon himself, through pushing away combatants and their weapons. Really just there to lend a hand to Mando when he needs it. The director of this episode and the previous episode, Rick Famuyiwa, continues to utterly shine as a director, with each of the fights in this episode feeling distinct and meaningful, and at that, they have their stakes. The music is also excellent, with riffs of Duel of the Fates and the Mandalorian theme bringing a drama to the climax. The Praetorian Guards continue to be just pretty cool looking elite minions, but watching Din and Grogu take turns saving each other in a deeply satisfying and bonding sequence, and it really helps establish just how much their dynamic has really grown ever since the introduction of the pair in Season 1. Likewise, the episode also firmly establishes Din Djarin and Bo-Katan as equals, something I think that this overall season has really been building towards. Neither one is really capable of taking Gideon down individually and by themselves, but they do each are able to hold their own until they can demonstrate their shared strength, with some key assistance from Grogu as I had earlier mentioned. The two's disparate narratives often felt as odds in this season, but they came together neatly here in the finale, with some explosive help from Axe Wolves, who even actually managed to survive blowing up Gideon's base, and his old light cruiser at that as well. I was really actually surprised by that, and I was sad to see Axe Wolves about to go, but instead he didn't, and he lived through it. He did the logical thing, and that's something that I really like about The Mandalorian, is that it uses a lot of common sense, like, oh, just blast that window right there and hop out, and that's exactly what the characters do, and that's something that I really like about this finale. There is also some awesome, strong use of CGI throughout this episode, with the most fighting between the Mandalorians and the Dark Troopers in the air almost looking like fireflies in the background of the central battle with Gideon and Bo-Katan and Gideon. The shot of Grogu sheltering Bo-Katan and Din Djarin from the devastating fire of the capital ship crash encapsulates the wonder of the Force. It is really a beautiful miracle used heroically, and also the fact that Grogu didn't just plop down and go to sleep and pass out after, demonstrating such force and such power at that, is really shown his growth over the course of these 3 seasons. I remember back in Season 1, he used the Force a little bit, and he would be out for like the next episode pretty much. This emotional finale of The Return is just as important as its action, while and with Din Djarin finally fully embracing Grogu as his son and apprentice. The finale foreshadows a return to a form of the show, with the duo heading on adventures together, alone, not with the other Mandalorians Mandalorians like Bo-Katan or Axe-Wolves or the Armorer or anything like that. And I'm kind of looking forward to that. That lone wolf type of style is something I'm hopeful for in the future. However, this overall season and finale also offers a chance to use some of the plot from the scrapped Rangers of the New Republic show, with Din Djarin serving as an independent contractor, essentially solving problems in the Outer Rim for the New Republic. There's even a happy ending at the quest to repair IG-11, and he becomes the new Marshal of Navarro. He still can't protect Navarro from a pirate invasion, but at least the planet's not entirely helpless. And if this IG-11 variant is anything like the one from Season 1, then I think they should be good. Really, overall, this was such a conclusive finale for the overall season, and yet the overall narrative that we've been seeing for the last 2 episodes here. As I had kind of mentioned in our preview video here on the channel, episode 8 and 7 felt like kind of like a part 1 and a part 2, and that's something I really liked and I actually saw like happen here. I'm a really big fan of that overall style. Din Djarin, Grogu, Bo-Katan all get to shine in equal measures in the deeply satisfying finale of The Mandalorian Season 3. It's packed with excellent fight scenes, but also devotes plenty of its time to the emotional aftermath, showing just how much the characters have grown and laying the groundwork for the future of the show. As I had mentioned in our reaction video here on the channel, really my only complaint here about the overall finale here is that there was no post-credit scene into the regards of anything setting up for the Ahsoka show, with maybe like a hologram of showing Thrawn talking with Gideon and showing that Gideon survived or something like that. I'm very prominent on the idea. I think Moff Gideon's for sure just out there still alive. Like, his armor was really tough. It was pretty much like an Iron Man suit, so I'm very sure that he did survive, and there was nothing into the regards of a post-credit scene for either the Ahsoka show, as I had mentioned, or maybe just something for like the future of the overall Mandalorian like show itself, like with Season 4. I'll have another video here on the channel discussing my overall final thoughts about the overall season rather than just the finale here, but overall an amazing season as well, and it reminded me a lot of what Season 1 was, just kind of going back to the basics of normal fun adventures, and that's exactly what we saw here in the 3rd season of The Mandalorian. As I had also mentioned in my reaction video here on the channel to the finale of The Mandalorian Season 3, that whole ending of Grogu and Mando just finally having a peaceful life, a restful life, something that's just nice and satisfying, I think that is the proper term to use, at the end of the episode where they're just sitting outside of Mando's new home. It just brought tears to my eyes. It was just so amazing. It was so nice to see these characters finally at peace for one thing, but then also the realization of that, like, this is it. We're not going to see these characters for probably a good year or so here now again, and it's going to be some time. And so also leaving off from where we saw like Mando at the end of this overall season here, it feels like he won't be doing too many adventures aside from occasional bounty hunting missions for the New Republic, so that's really the only way we could see them cross paths in the Ahsoka show like we did for the Book of Boba Fett as well. Anyway, I really can't believe it's over. I mean, I spent so much time looking forward to it and like being so excited for it, waking up at 3 in the morning, watching these episodes, making these videos for you guys at like 3 in the morning, my reaction videos, making the preview videos, the runtime videos, the theory videos, the news videos, the teasers videos, everything like that. I find it so fun, so enjoying, and to see you guys really like that is very wholesome to me. So thank you guys so much for sticking around for the Mandalorian Season 3 adventure and for this video here as well. I would love to hear all of your thoughts and opinions in the comment section down below. What did you guys think about the finale of the Mandalorian Season 3? Was it satisfactory? Did it leave too many loose ends? Was it too boring? Did you like it? What did you think about it? Let me know in the comments down below. I would love to hear what you guys all think. Don't worry, the Mandalorian isn't stopping anytime soon. We already have news and a rumor at that for Season 4 of the Mandalorian, so stay tuned for that video I'll have out on the channel in a couple of days by hitting that subscribe button and that notification bell to be notified for when that video is coming out. We're also talking and covering all types of Star Wars related news, leaks, rumors, theories, and breakdowns here on the channel, so if you guys are into any of that, join us here on the channel by subscribing. And so I'll catch you guys in the next one. Have a great one, guys. May the Force be with you as always. This has been Unofficial Star Wars. Peace out.